everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to talk about the Stanley Cup Final. First and foremost, congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche, who defeated the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games. Obviously winning 4 games to 2. Tampa Bay, who was in search of their 3rd Stanley Cup win in a row. The first team to 3-peat since... Did the Blackhawks 3-peat? Maybe. But a very rare trait, very rare feat in the world of the National Hockey League. And the Colorado Avalanche, who were looking to get their first since the 90s. I want to say it was the 90s, early 2000s, the Colorado Avalanche got their most recent Stanley Cup before this one. I don't remember exactly. I think I predicted Colorado to win this. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know. It feels like a month ago that this series started, honestly. Like it's kind of felt like it dragged out a bit. Although, like I said in my prediction video for this final, it did feel like the 2 best teams in the league were actually the 2 teams competing for the Stanley Cup this year, and it had not felt that way in a few years, especially the last 2 didn't really feel that way. With Dallas and then with Montreal, but it definitely felt like the 2 best teams were out there on the ice in these finals. So the games were frenetic, they were exciting. There was a lot going on. Let's take a look just briefly at the path these 2 teams took to get here. Colorado, they beat the Nashville Predators in a sweep. Then they beat the St. Louis Blues 4 games to 2. Then they swept the Edmonton Oilers and finally beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4 games to 2. So they lost a total of 4 games throughout the entirety of their cup run. And they were the 1 seed in the West during it. The Tampa Bay Lightning were the 3rd seed. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7 games in the first round, then swept the Panthers in the second round, and beat the New York Rangers in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Final, before getting to the Cup Final, which obviously they won 2 games and lost 4. Now let's take a look in at some of the games here. I just want to look at the kind of go over a brief recap of what happened. I don't have too much to say about this series, honestly. This is going to be a pretty short video, but just go over the results of the games. Game 1 was a barn burner that Colorado eked out in overtime. That game looked like it could have gone either way. Then Game 2, Colorado came out and looked, insane. And that was where people were kind of like, oh, is this going to be a sweep? But then Game 3, Tampa Bay came out dominating. And I think Game 4, even though Tampa Bay came back in Game 5 and got a win, even though it was only a 1-goal win, I think that Game 4 was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And Cooper kind of admitted as much in his press conference after the game. I think he was crying, and he said he felt like they deserved that win and they let it get away from them. And definitely tricky, for them, lose a pivotal game like that. It can kind of be hard to get yourself mentally and emotionally back into the series. As much as you say that you're not, or you try to fight it, obviously those doubts will come creeping back in. And Vasilevsky basically willed them to that Game 5 victory. There was some bad goaltending from Colorado in Game 5. Kemper did roasted on Twitter that game. So, yeah, but then Game 6, they came back, got it done. Colorado wins by a goal. And after finishing last in the 2016-2017 season, Colorado has done a 6-year rebuild and come back to win the Stanley Cup. So now the conversation, of course, is going to be about, whether or not they'll be able to replicate this next year. Some people are expecting Colorado to be a dynasty, how Tampa Bay was a dynasty before them. You're kind of, working on assumption maybe Tampa Bay is done. I don't think a lot of people are going to peg them to go back to the final next season. I don't know if I agree. I personally think it's probably going to be Toronto or Florida coming out of the East next season if I'm making an early prediction. Maybe Colorado out of the West, we'll see. I don't know. I have my personal issues with Colorado. Some of you may know if you've watched some of my hockey videos and I've talked about them. I personally dislike the team and the players, mainly the fan base. I don't know, I think I might have told you guys the story, but after last year's playoffs, Colorado against Vegas, I was in a Twitter war with some Colorado fans that I think literally went on for like 4 months. Like for 4 months we were like posting like tweets back and forth to each other, just calling each other the most terrible things. So I do have a very personal dislike of the Avalanche fan base, just because of how toxic my relationship with them has been on social media. But let's take a look here, because I don't have too much more to talk about, at the playoff stats for the Colorado Avalanche. Let's zoom this in a little bit here. Okay, zoom this in a little bit, maybe a little bit more, just so you guys can see it better. Alright, as you see, their points leader is Cale Makar, of course. Cale Makar, still super young, already the best defenseman in the league, one of the greatest defensemen of all time. Gonna go down maybe as the greatest defenseman of all time by the time his career's over. That's gonna be my prediction. My bold prediction is by the time Cale Makar retires, he is considered the best defenseman to ever play hockey. But he led the team in points with 29. McKinnon led the team in goals with 13. Makar led the team in assists with 21. Arturi Lehkonen led penalty minutes with 20, and plus minus goes to Landeskog with 15. Going to stats, Cale Makar, 20 games, 8 goals, 21 assists for 29 points, plus minus of 7. Mikko Rantanen, 20 games, played, 5 goals, 20 assists for 25 points, plus minus of 3. Nathan McKinnon, 13 goals, 11 assists for 24 points, plus minus of 11. Gabriel Landeskog, 20 games played, 11 goals, 11 assists for 22 points, plus minus of 15. Nazem Kadri, 16 games played, 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points, plus minus of 7, and I am happy for Kadri, especially what happened in that St. Louis Blues series. I am happy for Kadri. Valerie Nichushkin, 20 games played, 9 goals, 6 assists for a total of 15 points, plus minus of 6. Devin Taves, 20 games played, 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points, plus minus of 5. Arturi Lehkonen, 20 games played, 8 goals, 6 assists for 14 points, plus minus of 2. Bowen Byram, 20 games played, 0 goals, 9 assists for 9 points, plus minus of 15. Josh Manson, 20 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points for plus minus of 6. JT Compher, 20 games played, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points for a -1. He might be the only guy with a negative plus minus on a cup winning team. Andre Burakovsky, 12 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points, plus minus of 3. Andrew Gagliano, 16 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, plus minus of 5. Darren Helm, 20 games played, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points for a plus minus of 3. Eric Johnson, 20 games played, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points for a plus minus of 10. Positive 10 with only 5 points is actually insane. He was on the ice for 17 minutes a game too. That's crazy. Alex Newhook, 12 games played, 0 goals, 4 assists for 4 points, plus minus 0. Logan O'Connor, 17 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points for plus minus of 2. Samuel Girard, 7 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists, total of 3 points, negative 1. So your only other negative player besides JT Compher. Nico Sturm, 13 games played, 0 goals, 2 assists, 2 points for plus minus of 2. Nicholas Aube-Kubel, 14 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, plus minus 2. And Jack Johnson, 13 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, plus minus of 1. There's Jack Johnson at the bottom there. Did not realize you guys couldn't see it. And I know I have a lot of big Jack Johnson fans following this channel. So yeah, again, congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche. I feel like a lot of people were kind of expecting this last season, but this season they obviously came into their own. They've built up an absolute powerhouse, and you have to assume they're definitely going to be the favorites to get back here next year. Like, I feel like there aren't many teams in the NHL with this level of talent, and you have this many good players, and it's basically impossible not to win unless it's like some fluke, you know. With hockey, unfortunately, flukes do happen a lot. Like we saw Tampa Bay versus Columbus a few years ago. You know, you play that series 100 times, they only lose once, and that happens to be the situation we find ourselves in. So, you know, hockey can get tricky. You never really know what's going to happen, but if I had to make a prediction right now, I think the Avalanche could 3-peat or even 4-peat. I just don't really see any other team getting up to their level. I think it could be them versus the Leafs or the Leafs or the Panthers in the final, but I don't think either of those teams stop them. So if I'm making a bold prediction right now based off the current day, I'm going to say Colorado Avalanche 3-peat for the Cup, because I think this team is better than the Lightning team that's won the last 2 years. And especially when you're a Cup-winning team, you're going to get people that want to go to you on cheap deals. They're going to get veterans that go on, like, you know, trade deadline, 1-year deal, buyout, stuff like that. So we'll see, but that's my bold prediction. But again, like I said, I don't have too much to say about this. I didn't watch too much. I watched Game 4, I watched Game 6, and I watched Game 1, but I've been super busy lately, did not have a ton of time to watch. So for those of you that did, please leave in the comments down below your thoughts on this series, what you thought about it, what you thought some of the best performances should go to, the best games, the best moments. I'd love to hear any and all feedback in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single day. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.